Good afternoon, and welcome to season 5, episode 12 of the Leaders Only Show. I am Samaj, and we are also brought to you by What a Change Mentoring and Tone Drone. It's a beautiful, cold Sunday on the East Coast, and in today's episode, we'll delve into some current events. So please invite your friends to check out the Leaders Only show and podcast and have a watch party. Subscribe to our channel as well as share, like, hit that bell, and comment below. And if you just so happen to watch us after the live stream, it's definitely okay. Go ahead and hit that hashtag replay in the comments and just let us know that you were here. Let us know that you were here. Apologies for that. Definitely on the move, man. It's been a interesting week. The news has been rolling in. Life has been lifing for a lot of people, and we've come up on a story with a body cam that catches a girl, a disabled girl with learning disabilities, placed in handcuffs. So let's get to this video, and we'll come right back to discuss it.
How about this? A middle schooler in Middletown is working to protect fellow students from viruses, and she's getting millions of dollars in funding.
Little technical difficulties. Got the right video right here.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back. No. Turn around, put your hands behind her back. No. Now you're resistant. Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
I'm trying to go get my shoes.
Were doing whatever they could in order to solicit a felony charge against a 10-year-old. It's sick. I mean, a special needs 10-year-old.
Sounds like an assault of the Holy
Can you do it? It will, if it'll help.
In this situation, she wasn't posing a danger to herself or anyone else at that point in time.
If they'd like her to be released to me, please. Are you charging her right this second? If you're not charging right now, are you charging her?
She is detained, sir.
Okay, you need to release her.
No, sir.
And we're back, man. So in an incident raising questions about school discipline and law enforcement practices, police handcuff a 10-year-old girl with a learning disability following an incident at school. Conroe ISD Police arrested McKenna Lombardo, a fifth grader at Cryar Intermediate School. Footage of the body cam shows officers arriving at the playground where McKenna was with school administrators on the field. She is picking up rocks and then finds a frog along the fence. One teacher is picking up rocks as well and standing several yards away as she heard talking to the officer as he arrives. She explains what happened. She blocked me in the door and I'm not filing charges. So just so you guys know. So the teacher did not want to file charges. She walks to the doorway, then heads back inside to the bathroom, where the teachers stretch out their arms to stop her from going all the way back inside. As McKenna tries to dodge the teachers and go back into the restroom, the officer tells McKenna to come out. While she turns away from his arms as he tries to handcuff her, the officer demands she put her hands behind her back. He then puts handcuffs on her and then walks to the office. In the minutes leading up to this, the administrators are repeatedly heard telling the officers McKenna's dad is on the way. On the body cam video, McKenna's father is eventually seen outside the office after the officer has put McKenna in a squad car. 2 assault charges were filed against McKenna. Mr. Lombardo said Montgomery County officials allowed the family to do a Zoom call rather than bring McKenna to an intake hearing to discuss the charges in person. Via the teleconference hearing, Lombardo says a Montgomery County probation officer listened carefully to him and his concerns. The county dropped the charges following the hearing. I'd like to welcome my brother on in. Just kicked the show off. We were talking about the 10-year-old disabled young lady, McKenna, who was detained and put into cuffs and charged with these charges. What are your thoughts, bro? How you feeling?
First and foremost, welcome. Peace, y'all. So what I got from it, I feel
Adjust your
like,
camera if you can. We can't. We got so we can see your face.
yeah. So what
There
I
you
got
go.
from it, man, I first and foremost, should have never, the child should have never been, even put in handcuffs. And she should never be spoken to without her parent. You know, you can't discipline her without her parent being there. The parents supposed to be
Mhm.
present. So that was some of the things I was seen. A lot of the stuff was wrong about this situation and how they went about it, you know. But the handcuffs should have never happened. Should have never got to that stage, and then she should have never got even questioned without even her parents. Okay, yeah, she at school, so they got to do certain things, but her parents supposed to know everything from the jump. Either on the phone until they get there or whatever. You know, back. You know, they're never supposed to do that. That's against the law to be questioning a child and putting them in handcuffs without a parent. They're under the age of 18. So that's one. That's how I feel about that. And then that's always their authority to me. But nowadays it's a typical they use over they step over their boundaries, mostly with the children. They just carry it all one way, they don't really think before. They just use the power of authority, so that's kind of
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of unprofessional training, lack of professional training in that aspect. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I definitely think that the school definitely has to come up with a better protocol because it seems like they were having a tough time with just a 10-year-old child. So they should find some better ways to de-escalate the situation. Um, Definitely don't put a child in cuffs, or even going even further. She was in the back of the car, so it's all over the internet now. So I'm pretty sure that she's either seeing it, people are talking about it, but it's something that will go with her, for the rest of her life. This is quickly an introduction into the system because even though the charges were dismissed, unless they delete everything out the computer and they delete all the stuff that hit the internet, it's still out there. So I can only imagine the amount of times that she probably got to play it back in her head. We've also done episodes speaking on just homelessness with disabled children and how difficult it is when they're alone or how to try to speak to them and they can't speak back. So I would think with this that you would definitely take proper precautions if you're a police officer before putting a child in a in handcuffs or even put in the back of the car, because they don't pose that type of threat. I didn't see that there was a weapon. She looks smaller than everybody that was around her, especially the police officers. But just trying to de-escalate in the school got to do better before they put a young indigenous child in the system. Like it seems like that's really what be going on. You know what I mean? The school must know that she has some type of learning disability because she go there,
Mhm.
so they could at least let that be known when they call in or whoever called, because somebody had to actually call the police. So when you call them, like, man, we have a disabled child. It's not a life threatening situation, not a violent situation. We're just trying to de-escalate it. You know what I mean? And then maybe send a man cop, just for if things get out of line, but definitely send some type of female cop too, because, her motherly instinct can come in at that time and, try to, speak to the young lady or something like that. So definitely above all, I would pray that the school, get some type of calling from the school district or the superintendent or something for better training. And then as well as we always try to talk about police interaction with people. They always should just get better training, especially now, just seeing that you would detain a kid just like you would a 18-year-old or older. So
Facts.
definitely a sad situation, man, but definitely glad that the justice system prevailed and they didn't go ahead and charge her with that stuff, because that would have been something else that we'd be talking about.
Yeah,
Moving
yeah.
forward, man, we got our second story.
Go
Um,
ahead.
yeah, you got the second story. All right. Our 12-year-old receives, so there's a 12-year-old young lady, man. She received $11.5 million for a virus filtering air system in classrooms. So we're going to go to that video and we'll be right back with you guys.
How about this? A middle schooler in Middletown is working to protect fellow students from viruses, and she's getting millions of dollars in funding to help the cause. NBC Connecticut City Boyo tells us more about her initiative.
Eniola Shokunbi says one day she wants to be the president of the United States, but first she's making a difference right here in Connecticut.
I'm just blown away by these kids, and Eniola is fabulous. She wows every room she's in front of. She's a real rock star.
In fifth grade, she and her classmates in Middletown worked with a group of scientists to build an air filter that removes cold and COVID viruses.
What it does is that the air goes through all the sides and it comes out on the top, so it filters in and out.
They brought their design to the Environmental Protection Agency to prove it worked.
It showed that the air filter took out over 99% of the viruses in the air and that it was effective.
This stuff is more effective than a lot of the commercial products that are available in the market. A lot cheaper and a lot more effective.
Today, Connecticut's State Bond Commission unanimously approved $11.5 million to further Shokunbi's initiative.
A lot of people, they don't realize sometimes that the only thing standing between them and getting sick is science. Like the air filters, air conditioning. If we're not investing in that, then we're not investing in kids' future.
She says her goal is to get the filters into every classroom in America.
I want them to go to school knowing that they're safe, that they're healthy, that they can learn.
And she hopes to inspire future generations of innovators.
In every classroom, there were kids and they're like, what is that? What does this do? And I really love explaining to people and seeing their faces, seeing them realize that this could change so many lives.
It's wonderful to have these kids in STEM. It's really inspiring to see, especially young women.
Sydney Boyo, NBC Connecticut News.
Yes, man, what an interesting story. And as a result of COVID-19's pandemic that we all experienced, Eniola Shokunbi launched an ambitious project to improve the air qualities in schools. In October, the Connecticut State Bond Commission approved $11.5 million in funding to aid with the air filter initiative. When Eniola was a fifth grader at Commodore MacDo STEM Academy in Middletown, she led the effort to create a virus filtering air system that would be able to remove cold and COVID viruses from classrooms. Eniola and her classmates built and installed the filters with the help of scientists at the University of Connecticut. And the units are made with a box fan, 4 furnace filters, some duct tape, and cardboard. Each unit costs approximately $60 to make. The filters highly affordable, and the air goes in through the sides, like she said, and comes out at the top, and it filters in and out. The 12-year-old said that it functions for the air filter quality. The Environmental Protection Agency in North Carolina tested and certified the air filter's efficiency, and the agency found that it removed over 99% of the air viruses in the air. Eniola is fabulous. She vows every room she's in front of. She's a real rock star, said the state senator Matt Lesser, according to NBC Connecticut. And since the students installed the air filters, Commodore MacDo STEM Academy has been using them. The board approved funds all to be allocated to UConn under its supplemental air filtration for education program for the construction and installation of the air filter system for other schools in the state. A lot of people don't realize sometimes that the only thing standing between them and getting sick is science, in which Eniola stated. And if we're not investing in that, excuse me, then we're not investing in the kids' future, like she said in the video. Um,
Mm.
your thoughts, bro?
It just goes to show, like how we piggyback on our shows, man. It just goes to show that it's not an age limit on what you could do. For her to do something that popularizes so much and helps so much, um, it just goes to show, and she's an example for like the guests that we had on, as far as like our nieces and nephews. But at the same time, that's just something to better our environment anyway. So anything pertaining to that is a blessing. And just like for her to be that young and take initiative in that is also a blessing. So that's amazing. Kudos to her.
Yes, indeed. Definitely an inspiring story. She definitely has a bright future ahead of her. I wonder within those funds, because it sounds like it's all been allocated to just the project. And she the face for it, but it look like they um allocating the funds that go to the project. So I would wonder what type of equity she has in this project. When the product is actually patented, I wonder would she be able to get in on the patent, or are they going to jack this sister for her idea and just
Right.
utilize the money to make it better, because she's a kid. So I pray that she has the proper legal team around her, that she has some great parents. Definitely inspiring. Definitely a great story. Definitely beautiful to see what science can do, and that we still are magical. You know what I mean? That's some young copper girl magic. You know what I'm saying? Right there. But when we get down to this business and we think about the business, I pray that she has the right people around her and the right mindset, because she is 12 now, but what she's embarking on and what she has already created is something that can take care of her family for generations, and
Yeah.
then it could catapult her to go in and invent other things. You know what I'm saying? That funding can allow her to create other things. But I would sure hate to see $12 million go into something, and that young lady is still living in the same home that she has to live in, and she still has to have the same life that she already had, be if it's struggling, be if it's
Right.
not. I think that her life should improve drastically as these products improve. You know what I mean? Because that's not a small amount of money, and like you said, for all to be allocated just to UConn scientists and stuff like that on account of her um, invention, it's just not right. So kudos to our young sister. Keep striving. All of our kids, all of our people, period, people in general, everybody who's watching, whoever watches and taps in, take it as a sign of inspiration. No matter how young you are or how old you are, all you need is your ideas. You know what I mean? Anything can spawn from here when you allocate what the problem is. She figured out what the problem was, and she
Mm-hmm.
found a solution. You know what I mean? It's simple as that. You're either gonna find a product or a service, to find, the solution to that problem. So yes, you know what I mean. Shout out to the state of Connecticut, for at least highlighting and listening and allowing a child's vision to actually turn into something that can make it better for the school systems out there, and then eventually it's going to turn into something that takes care of the nation. But please do right by that young lady, please, please, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, now, so we have our break coming. So we want to always encourage you to, do your best, be that you can be mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Practice safe habits, practice discipline. Be aware of your surroundings. Try and travel in groups during the day and night as much as possible. Eat right, sleep right, meditate. A lot of
Don't
people
hesitate.
say New Year, new them. So be mindful for the suicide hotline emergency number, which is 988. And don't hesitate if you're struggling for this year or this time to be the time that you do something different and actually, get the help that you deserve. It's there for you. Um, yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
indeed.
Yeah, because this is around the time like we talked about last week, man. And I mean, prior to our show, man, this is around the time where people get depressed, people start to do wicked things. And it's been, it's been a tough New Year kickoff, I guess, in the news anyway. With the next story that we have with the New Orleans attacker. So I'll go
Hmm.
ahead and give you that story. New Orleans attacker acted alone in an evil act that killed 14 and injured 35 people. Rampage was 100% inspired by ISIS, authorities say. The driver in the New Orleans attack was an Army veteran from Texas, Shamsud-Din Jaddar, 42, served in the Army on active duty from 2006 to 2015 and was deployed to Afghanistan in 2009. Jabbar had been working for a professional services giant, uh, D. Lottie, in a stuff level role since 2021. The company confirmed. Uh, the bloody New Year's Day attack in New Orleans killed 14 people or more and injured 35 plus more people. Federal investigators said he intentionally rammed a pickup truck into revivers around 3:15 a.m. on Bourbon Street as people were ringing in the New Year. He died in a shootout with police. Two officers were shot and and were two officers were shot and shot were stable officers said. The unfold when Jabbar drove onto the sidewalk by passing a police vehicle that had been parked to block cars from pedestrians celebrating on a crowded Bourbon Street. So, according to preliminary information, Jabbar had a had a black ISIS flag to the hitch of the Ford F-150 Lightning truck. The car sharing marketplace Toro said the vehicle was rented from its company. In an email statement, a spokesperson said the company is heartbroken over the attack and is actively working with enforcement. Toro does not believe the car renter had a criminal background that would have identified him as a security threat, according to the statement.
Okay, so what we know, the driver behind the New Year's Day attack in New Orleans acted alone, an FBI official said today. A potential improvised explosive device was in the truck that he was driving, and other potential IEDs were discovered in the French Quarter. The explosives were never denoted. Jabbar posted several videos before the attack to an online platform proclaiming his support for ISIS. This was an act of terrorism. There is no definite link between the New Orleans attack and the explosion in a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Vegas. My thoughts on this story, uh, man, it's just gut wrenching. You know what I mean? It's definitely gonna drive fear. You know what I mean, and have people, even more afraid to go out, large groups, big events. Back up some, bro, your camera. But me personally, I just believe that this is why I don't go out a lot. This is why I don't go in a lot of places on design holidays and stuff, let alone not celebrate them. But you just don't know what people are on. Now that our borders have been open this long, it's a serious time, and it seems like we don't take things serious until things like this happen. The guy was sitting there going through posts, putting stuff up, So he pretty much was alluding to it as it, if the incident had happened. So with that being said, it's just like there has to be some type of protocol, or some type of channels that we go through when we're giving people, the right to be here, whether it be visa, whether they came in illegally through the border. We have to do better with our security, because now we have an act of terrorism acted upon us. But what's our response? Do we unleash our military and fight for the people who are just citizens of this country, just out having a good time? What about the families? You know what I mean? People went out to have a good time. Families were expecting them to come back home. Everybody had a parent. Some of them might have been parents. So it just all makes you think. And then, with the Cybertruck incident happening in Vegas, we don't know if they are connected, but it just makes you wonder how many people are here, how many people are plotting against us, how many people are really going against the United States. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful. If there's things that you see, empty bags, weird behavior, different posts, where you just see somebody just going at the country, you might want to be mindful. You know what I'm saying? Give some type of protocol to your family, though, when you're in those type of environments and situations. And then lastly, from me, I just pray that those families heal, that they get the justice that they're looking for, because the man was killed, you know what I'm saying, in a shootout. So I pray that that city does something, you know what I mean, special to honor, to bring justice of some sort to your heart and closure to your heart, because it's going to forever be an open wound. And for those who made it out of there, who were just, wounded, and those who weren't wounded but who were there, I can only imagine, the playback in their mind with PTSD and stress. So I just
Yeah,
pray everybody gets some healing, and that they take the proper amount of time and channels that they need to go through to do that, and that they have a support system to do so, because a lot of people might not be able to identify with that type of trauma. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
something that you see in movies. But then
yeah.
that's the other side of my brain too. Um,
Right.
was it, are they getting us again? You know what I'm saying? With pushing propaganda and stuff. So above all, man, my heart just goes out to people who are experiencing this. And if you really, you know what I'm saying, going through this stuff, um, please be mindful, if you haven't, that it could just happen at any time. So just be aware.
Excuse me.
Salute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree because I mean it's funny that you said that, but a lot of these late acts that's been going on with the world have been movie type acts. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's like a lack of paying attention to. There were plenty signs out that let it know that what this guy was on. Just the people that's in the right positions not really paying attention, I guess. That's just from
Hmm.
my perspective. Um, Everybody paying attention to all the BS that's getting putting out on the news. Why couldn't they catch this one? Is my thought, but
Hmm.
could they sure catch everything that P Diddy did and everything that's going on in this music industries that Lil Durk's doing and things of that nature. But it's something right here in your face that you couldn't even catch, and it's kind of crazy that it's dealing with the military. Um,
Hmm.
which is supposed to be protecting the country. So yeah, it's a kind of a lot of wicked thoughts in my head about it. It kind of just like yeah, it's like movie type things, but it's real acts that people watching movies and going to do. So you never know. Just like you say, you never know what their propaganda is, man. Nowadays,
Hmm.
it's so much propaganda going on and getting lived out. You never know what's really what. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you really got to start to pay attention to those who's paying attention.
Hmm.
Simple as
Yeah,
that.
man. And speaking of that cyber truck driver incident, he had likely self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Sheriff
Mhm.
says authorities have identified the driver of the cyber truck that exploded in front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas as 37-year-old Master Sergeant Matthew Allen Livelsberger. In a news briefing Thursday afternoon, police say they still don't have 100% confirmation, because he was burned beyond recognition in the January 1 blast. They're awaiting DNA tests to confirm his identity. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Sheriff Kevin McMahill says Liversberger sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the Cybertruck detonating. Investigators believe it was self-inflicted. Officials found several items in the vehicle, including multiple firearms, fireworks, a military ID, an iPhone, and several credit cards. The FBI local law enforcement officials are still looking for a motive. 7 victims were hurt by the explosion, all of whom are in stable condition. The vehicle was rented in Colorado and arrived in Vegas at 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday. About an hour later, after driving up and down the boulevard, the truck pulled up to the Trump Hotel and exploded. Surveillance video shows a driver passing by the Trump Hotel in Vegas about an hour before the car explodes and then circling back near the end of that hour and stopping in front of the hotel where the car explodes seconds later. Liversberger was an active duty special operations soldier with the U.S. Army. Officials noted similarities with 42-year-old Shamsud-Din Jaddar, the man who drove a pickup truck on the sidewalk in New Orleans, killing at least 14 and injuring more on New Year's Day. Excuse me. McMahill said both men served at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Though there's an indication they served in the same unit. They also both served in Afghanistan in 2009, and they both used the rental car app Turo to rent the vehicles used in these attacks. McMahill said details on additional parallels are unknown. What are your thoughts on that, bro?
Once again, they try to tell us that they're not connected, but then everything got pieces that connect. Um, it's weird. Just like I said again, it's a lot of military um mental health issues,
Mhm.
and people, people go, like I said, people be having their own motives. So some people that get accepted to go in the military, they probably going in there for a motive. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you never know. So it's just the crazy stuff that we living in. Like, you never know what their motive is. Did they get in the military just to go against America? You
Mhm.
know, you don't know. So it's like they said that this was at the end of the story that I read, right? Before,
Mhm.
they said that these had no connection, right? But they done served at the same base. They done went to Afghanistan together. They done rented from the same Toro place. How is it not connected?
Right.
How
And
is
they
it
only
not?
and they're only 5 years apart in age, so they like in the same generation. But I
And
would
who's to say
wonder
that one of them could be one of them boss, captain,
yeah.
whoever?
I
Like
mean,
they
one
could
of
have
them
been
is a
playing.
sergeant. One of them is
Yeah,
a
that's what
sergeant.
I'm saying. So
The
like they
second
could
one.
have been playing this. So it's like wicked, bro. That's not just wicked. It's wicked. And I always hear like side jazz, like I'm in the business of the military movement, so I always be hearing side jazz, like when they be coming back from China and stuff like that. I always be hearing side jabs. So it just be throwing
Mhm.
me off when I be getting these when we get these stories, and it be like, damn, yo, this thing might be true. You know what I'm saying? You always hear like, oh yeah, China be here in 2 years. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. They throw their little jabs, like, but I mean, it ain't jabs. You know what I'm saying? They coming back from over there, so it's like it's stuff that I pay attention to because, like, you never know, and like they could have been playing this. This is '09 when they served together, so like you never know. You know what I mean? Now it's 2025, and now the acts are happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Yeah, man, it's wicked, man. It's wicked. Like I don't know what they on,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
it's
I would
wicked
think
though.
about what happened in Afghanistan in 2009. I would see what type of connection was made there. One of them is literally an American official. So it seems like he was born, you know what I'm saying, in America. The other one, just with his name and stuff, I'm not sure if he was born here or not. But it sounds like he was born somewhere else, more likely the Middle East, by the sound of his name, that he's probably a part of. I mean, they say he's a part of ISIS, but he's probably some type of Muslim, uh, where they do sacrifice themselves. So what the guy did with the truck, that's not an American thing. That's not most times an American thing.
Right.
So I would wonder if he was influenced when he was in Afghanistan. Was he compromised? Because that sounds like some stuff that could possibly happen. It just makes you wonder. It lets you know that people are human. It lets you know that this is definitely war games. These are war crimes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they said, you said like people always taking their jabs, but they're not necessarily idle jabs. They're not false threats. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like
Right.
we pissed a bunch of people off. We owe people, you know what I'm saying? But we always, are willing to fight. That's the America's thing. It may not be our resources and the things like that. But we will use our military. Now it seems like we got to even do a better job at vetting our military. We got to definitely up the protocols when it just comes to security. We're living in an age now where things are going such in a movement of technology where it's camera, 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 or things are hack, hack, hack that we're moving off with computers. So we got to get our cybersecurity way up, you know what I mean, to
Yeah.
match what we do on the physical side. Because you gotta, the man was driving a computer, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the detonator is hooked up some type of technology computer, you know what I'm saying? So everything is playing out in a way, like you said, like the movies. If you ever seen like Blacklist, or you ever seen um Actor Vailer or SEALs Team, all these different shows, it just seems like it's programming our brains for this stuff too. You know what I mean? So definitely be mindful, be safe, man. Again, can't tell you what to do, can't tell you where to go. It kind of sucks, wanting to enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? Because some people just wanted to go out, celebrate, have a great time. Um, but you gotta be mindful. You gotta, like I like to do. I like to control my environments. You know what I'm saying? If there's a bunch of people there, I ain't going there. I'm gonna go here. You know what I'm saying? Just for that simple, those simple ways. And it is, kind of like a cautious way to live, but that's the world we live in. And then we don't know. Once it hit that TV, we don't own the media. You know what I'm saying? So wherever story go out, however it go out, I always tell people like, man, what's the difference between real life and a movie scene? If they want to put a movie scene on the news, that could be real once it hit the news. You know what I'm saying? So above all, get right in your heart, get right in your mind, get right in your spirit with the Most High. Whatever that looks like to you, just get in tune with it. Find out the knowledge of yourself. Fall in love with yourself. Um, get get in tune with your purpose, so at least you'll be protected. Because when we move with our purpose and we do purpose work, at least the angels are around you. You can't stop. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. But try to do the best you can, man, and weigh your options and just pay attention to the surroundings, to our military, to our government, to the people who are in charge, because we're not in charge of shutting down people pages and stuff like that when it goes on, or the owners or the people who own these social media sites. There should be one thing when you're just sharing knowledge, or you're just sharing, how people share knowledge and they debunk stuff. That's one thing. There should be some type of protocol when people are making threats, when it's literally hate. You know what I mean? I don't hate America. I dislike the justice system and I hate what happened to us here. I don't hate this place because this place is the land of milk and honey. There's tons of resources here. They're probably never going to be able to tap into them until we unite, until we, get in tune with who we are. And then we'll probably find everything that's here. But I would never hate this place and want to just be somewhere else and abandon my homeland. I just don't like the scenarios and the cards that we are dealt here. But there's a difference than somebody who has been put through, injustice and oppression and those type of things. And you're posting like, yo, we really the people who built this. That's different than the people, yo, for your president, you're this, you're that, 42 people on 13 days, da 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 da. We got to pay attention. So With that being said, you know what I mean? Please, please, please get your house in order, get yourself in order. If you ain't where you want to be, you're where you're supposed to be. Now, if you're on your back, only place you got to go is up. Stand up
Yeah.
first. If you up, you got to maintain. The way you maintain is bring somebody else up. Bring somebody else up. Bring somebody else up. You know what I mean? Ain't no need to be there and be waiting for people to look up and for your downfall. We got to bring other people up so we can sustain. And it ain't just finances. I'm not just talking about finances. We just living in a world where we do. I mean, the walls seem like they closing in, man. States are now going bankrupt. States, listen to me. So if you ain't got your bankroll up, it ain't. You can't be broke. You can't be broker than a state. They got states in our country or the corporation, or however they break it down, they're going broke. Meaning
Mm.
people ain't gonna be getting salaries, meaning people things are gonna get a lot tighter. It's gonna get a lot colder out here, which means we're gonna have to move with a lot more strategy and a lot more love. States are
Yes,
losing
sir.
money, people are detonating bombs. Like, do y'all not this seems like an episode of The Simpsons, don't it?
Mm. Mm.
We gotta
Talk to
wake
him.
up, man. You know what I'm saying? We really gotta wake up and start working together and stop trying to, stunt on one another. Because how are you stunting, especially if you live in a state that went broke? The stunt is over. It's over, bro. It's over. We gotta really collectively get something out of this world that is ours, or we're gonna pass away with nothing. We're gonna pass away with nothing. We ain't gonna have no sense. We ain't gonna have no love. We ain't gonna have no peace. We ain't gonna have no happiness. We ain't gonna have no unity. You ain't gonna have own nothing. 50, 60, 70 years old living in apartments. Like, come on, man. Because we can't get along and we can't do, come on, man. Let's get it
That's
right,
crazy.
y'all. So in closing, man, this is the Leaders Only Digital Show and Podcast live streamed every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We appreciate every one of you for joining us for episode 12 of season 5. We hope you enjoyed today's show. We look forward to you joining us
Sir.
next week, as we'll be brought to you by Would Have Changed Mentoring Inc. and Tone Drone TV. I am Samaj.
And I'm your host, Kendall.
And please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that bell,
Yeah.
email us at leadersonly22 at gmail. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get some places that we should go visit, some stories that we should cover. We would love some guests to come on, just to talk about reality. You ain't got to be popular. You ain't got to be famous. Just got to have something to talk about that's fruitful for at least one person in our community to actually use. So we'll see you next week at the same time. And it's been nothing but a blessing. We love you guys. Peace out. And remember, www.mentalhealthchef.com, and follow us on Instagram so you can get trained. You could get catering on either side for myself or my brother, what we got
Yes,
going
sir.
on. You can also got moving company and a cleaning
Yes,
company,
sir.
man. If you need it, we are up and down the DMV, and we are here to help you. Have a great week, y'all.
Yes, sir. Peace, 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 and love. Bless.
Celebration going on.